enjoying this video, we are going to talk about controlling your educational costs. Finances are often a determining factor to whether or not individuals pursue a post-secondary education. Many individuals who decide to enter college have a difficult time making ends meet while in school. Often students believe that they can only make it through school by acquiring loans. It is not uncommon for such students to graduate with more debt than they can afford. The burden that their family could suffer because of this debt can often outweigh the blessing of their education. Students in automotive majors are required to purchase thousands of dollars in tools. This can often be discouraging for these students and may lead many to choose alternate paths. Debt can often be minimized or eliminated completely in a student's financial plan. The idea of going through school without debt or minimal borrowing is often unheard of in today's society. This project is intended to educate students and prospective students concerning scholarships, grants, loans, work, and other sources of financial aid, especially those pursuing automotive degrees. So first I'd like to talk about some advantages of the Automotive Technology Program at BYU-Idaho. They include an in-depth instruction of vehicle systems that prepares students for ASE certifications. They also have labs associated with every course, real customer experiences, and parts ordering experience. You'll become familiar with service software that is used throughout the industry and also manufacturer-specific tools. You'll also have the opportunity to acquire your own personal tools. Each lab requires certain tools, and as you buy them for 50 to 60% off in most cases, you will be able to set yourself up for a good inventory of tools for future careers. One of the main advantages of the Automotive Technology Program at BYU-Idaho is the lower tuition costs compared to other schools. So, whenever you consider your finances, you always want to look at where your money will be going. So this is a breakdown of enrollment costs. Remember that during this video you can pause it at any time to get further understanding or look at things more closely. This is the basic breakdown. You can find it on the financial aid website at byui.edu/financial-aid. First, you have your tuition costs, which will be just under $1,900. You can expect to pay fees about $100, a large amount for books and supplies, and this does not include your tools. Your personal expenses, room, will be usually about $1,000. Food, tools, this is something that a lot of freshmen come into the program not realizing that they'll have to pay for. But whenever you're going into automotive specific classes, remember that there are labs and you are required to buy your own tools. So be prepared to pay up to $1,500 your first semester in tools. Then this does not include the toolbox, which you are also required to buy, and that can be anywhere from $600 to several $1,000 depending on the size of the toolbox and also the quality of it. And so keep that in mind as well. And so you can see the total there. Also be aware that if you are married or if you have kids, obviously your housing costs, your food, and personal expenses are also going to be different. They're going to be at least twice as much, if not more. So just keep that in mind. Also, there's other tuition options. We had listed at the top in the breakdown an LDS tuition of 12 or more credits, but if you're taking less than 12 credits, you pay per credit hour, which is $156. And then if you're not LDS and you're attending this university, you just double those tuition costs, and it still comes out to be a very affordable price. So now we'll talk a little bit about priorities. Decide now to control your money and keep the mindset that you are paying for your education because education is a priority in your life, instead of the mindset that it is robbing you of your money because you have to go, because you really don't. There's several jobs that you don't need a university education for, a degree or anything like that. So education needs to be a priority for you. The following are priorities that can also be financial burdens if they're not controlled: tuition, housing, food, tools, insurance, gas and transportation, books, vehicle payments, and phone payments. Make sure that you have all these in order. Um, for example, if one of these is more important than what your needs are, for example, if your education is your priority, then tuition is probably going to be at the top of your list. But if you have vehicle payments, which is generally due to a want of a vehicle that is more expensive than you can afford, and it is taking the place of tuition or food or tools, especially in the automotive major, it might be time to kind of figure out what your wants are and trade those in so that you can satisfy your needs. So, how do you pay for school? Let's talk about some methods. First, we're going to talk about federal grants, scholarships, student loans, work, and family. First, we're going to talk about federal grants. In order to receive any federal grants, first you'll have to go to the free application for student aid, for federal student aid rather, at fafsa.ed.gov. This application is used to determine how much federal aid you can receive in Pell Grants and federal student loans. Obviously, we're going to stay away from loans a little bit during this presentation and focus more on free money, which are Pell Grants and scholarships. Pell Grants will be determined by the need that you have, and that is determined by your tax information as you enter it into the FAFSA application. And if you're still a dependent to your parents, it will also be dependent on your parents' tax information. You must apply every school year for federal grants. The school will also use your FAFSA application information to determine your financial need. Next, we'll go on to scholarships. BYU-Idaho scholarship application is a need-based scholarship application, and it's required for all BYU-I scholarships except for the talent and the leadership scholarships that go through the school. And like most all scholarships, you need to reapply every year. And so we'll talk a little bit about some of the scholarships that are available through this application now. First, we're going to have the general scholarships, and these are based not just on GPA and how you're doing academically, but on your financial need, your self-reliance, your ability to spend where you need to, and not necessarily on extreme wants, extracurricular involvement in programs at the university, as well as your academic status. And so you just need to fill it out. If you have need, you will be able to receive financial aid in the automotive program. They expect you to spend a certain amount of money on tools, and so they do take that into consideration if you put it in the comments box at the end of the application. For freshmen coming into the school, you can receive academic scholarships if you did well in high school. These academic scholarships are based on GPA. For the freshmen, it's also based on their ACT score, and they have quarter, half, and full tuition options. And again, academic scholarships for continuing students based on your academic performance at BYU-Idaho after your first semester, based on your GPA, and these are also quarter, half, and full tuition scholarships. And then there's talent awards, and some of them are offered by the following departments: the Department of Art, Dance, Music, Theater, and Journalism. If you have a talent in any one of these areas, go to byui.edu/financial-aid, as it's there on the slide, and you'll be able to find these departments and see what their requirements are for these awards. There's also outside scholarships. It's not just scholarships through the school that are available, but there are probably thousands, if not tens of thousands, of scholarship opportunities outside of the school. Some of these scholarship opportunities are listed here in this picture. Some of them are based on your major, some of them are based on your need. There are essay type scholarships and other scholarships that might require you to create a commercial or something like that. Keep in mind that these scholarships, you can definitely take advantage of them. Based on major, you can look there at some of the majors that are listed. Basically, if you are a pre-law student, you can see there that the amount is a $10,000 and a $5,000 scholarship for those students that apply who are part of that major. Also keep in mind the deadlines. You can't go a day past the deadline. If you do, you will have to wait till the next year, the next time that the scholarship is offered. Also, there's automotive-specific scholarships. These aren't listed on the school website, but I'll list them here. First, you have the Automotive Aftermarket Scholarship from automotivescholarships.com. This is where you get to fill out an application, and then from that application, the website sends it to several different aftermarket organizations that are putting money into education. And this is a really great scholarship. BYU students get it every year. Also, the SEMA scholarship, BYU students have been receiving this for the past several years as well. And these are anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 scholarships. There's more scholarships available at the Automotive Hall of Fame at automotivehalloffame.org/education/scholarships. And these are essay type scholarships for the most part, but just go to the site and search it, figure out what it is that they require, and do it. And you could potentially receive more $1,000 or more in the amount anyway, scholarships. Also, this is a big one, the Buick Achievers Scholarship Program at buickachievers.com. Buick, or anyway, their scholarship program is offering $25,000 scholarships to students. And so that's a big one, and that can really help you if you have the need in your education. So fill it out. It doesn't hurt to fill it out. Every year you could get better. But if you did get that, that would be an extreme blessing, I'm sure. There are other scholarship websites, for example, fastweb.com, collegenet.com, scholarships4students.com. These three sites, you go on and you build a profile. From that profile, the site gathers information and then it matches scholarships to you. And there's thousands of scholarships available. And you go on and you might be receiving emails or other things as well. But they match the scholarship to you, and you could earn up to hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships if your essay is chosen, if you meet the qualifications, whatever it might be. So these are amazing opportunities for you to learn more about the scholarships that are available. Also, bigfuture.collegeboard.org is a great informational site talking about scholarships and other opportunities that are available to help get you through school and make the most of your education. There's international scholarships available online too. Just Google international scholarships, and there's even profile sites, the same as fastweb.com, that will match international scholarships to you. And do you have a parent whose employment offers scholarships to dependents? My father actually works for a corporation, a global corporation, that gives back to the community very generously. And one of the programs that they offer is a scholarship program to all the dependents. Just because my father works there, I get scholarships every semester, and that really helps to pay for my education. And can you think of any other big or small company that is willing to invest in education? Look them up. If you like Ford, if you like GM, go to their sites, figure out if they have scholarships. They most likely will, because they are needing to invest in the future. Other scholarship tips, obviously don't forget the deadlines. and maintain your eligibility. If they require a 3.5 GPA, make sure you keep it throughout the semester. Minimum credits, academic scholarships here at BYU-Idaho require that you have at least 14 credits per semester, and that you don't drop below that during the semester. And so keep that in mind. Also, learn about the company that you're applying for. What do they look for? What ideas do they represent? How can you appeal to them? The more you learn about the company, the better prepared you're going to be for filling out applications and doing things like that. And the more you will appeal to them, and the higher the likelihood that you will get the scholarship. Also, demonstrate need. If you have medical expenses that you need to take care of, if there's something that puts a hurt in your budget, make sure that somehow you incorporate it and demonstrate need, because these companies aren't going to give money to people who don't need it. They will find those people who are going for their education, who need money, and so that's where their money is going to go. And be confident, express gratitude after you receive any award, and remember again that international scholarships are available online. Now we're going to talk a little bit about student loans, not a lot, but there are federal government loans and other student loans. The federal government loans, as we talked about before, are based on your FAFSA. So obviously they're going to need that information. It's all determined by need. In other words, the amount that they offer through FAFSA and through the school is going to be based on what they think you need. It's not going to be more than that, it's not going to be less, but in any case, understand the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. A lot of people see that you can get more in a loan from an unsubsidized loan, but then they get over their head because of the conditions. Also, use loans as the last resort only. Pay attention to terms and conditions. For other student loans, you might be going to a bank to get it. Usually there's not a huge limit on how much you can get from the bank. But make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into, because the only way to get rid of these loans is to pay them off. A lot of people think that, after a while, after having graduated from school for a while, they find themselves in a hurt, and then they feel like bankruptcy is the only option. Well, the interesting thing about student loans is once you get it, you can't get rid of it. You got to pay it off. Bankruptcy doesn't get rid of these debts. In Idaho, at BYU-Idaho, there's also a work-study program available, but it's only available to Idaho residents. It's funded by the state of Idaho, and it's coordinated by BYU. And so what you have to do is you have to choose a job that's related to your degree, and you have to make sure you're working less than 20 hours per week. And so if you want to learn more about this, go to the site that's posted here at this time. Also, make sure that you're spending, if you're wanting to stay out of debt, do what you can. Work on track if at all possible. Money might be tight during school, and so make sure that you're willing to stretch yourself just a little bit. A lot of people find that they're able to manage time better when they also have a part-time job. There are many employment opportunities available on campus and in the community. And even if your health permits, donating plasma is one option that often helps pay for a month's worth of groceries for many people. And remember that your part-time job might not be ideal and most likely won't be, but every little bit helps, so don't be picky what you do. Otherwise, you might not find a job at all. And even though it is a part-time job, and it might not seem significant, and it's not the major that you're going into, remember who you represent and never burn bridges, because that can often have a detrimental effect for other people who are trying to just pay for school during their time here at BYU-I. You also have the opportunity to work off-track. Take your off-track seriously. Use it to make the money you need to return to school, because a 5-month off-track is a huge blessing that other universities don't have. Most of them only have 3 months, but our 5-month off-track is a great time to make sure that you get the money you need. And do well at any job you acquire so that you can have a place to return to if you need to the next year. Um, and you can also use your off-track for internships. One thing that's cool about the automotive degree is that most of the automotive internships are paid. And so look for those if you need to. Make sure that you're getting um, a great experience, a paid internship, and just look for anything you can to make sure that you're getting what you need. Lastly, we want to talk about family and continued support from them. This is often a convenience that parents feel they would like to provide for their children. The ability for them to go to school without having to pay for certain things. A parent might be willing to pay for housing or whatever it is. In any case, be grateful to them if they provide financial support. Not many people have such a convenience. And always avoid feelings of entitlement. It's really important that, if a family is no longer able to provide that support, we are always grateful for what they were able to provide, and we continue on and we work to find other ways to pay for school. Other relatives, for example, grandparents, might also be interested in helping if you need it. And it is good counsel to avoid accepting family loans, though not always. These can often end in severed family relationships, and they can certainly make family reunions awful or even awkward. If you're going and they're trying to figure out when they're going to get paid, and in your mind you're trying to figure out how on earth you're going to pay them back. So just keep that in mind. In conclusion, there are many ways to get through your degree without going into debt. Remember that student loans are always optional. They are one option of many, because there are millions of dollars that remain unclaimed every year because students just don't apply for the scholarships that are available. There really are many companies out there, many organizations that want to invest in the future. And so, and remember that those scholarships, those grants, whatever they might be, that's free money. You don't have to go into debt for school all the time. Attending BYU-I is affordable, and it truly is a blessing. Remember to recognize the cost of your education. Make a plan at the beginning. See how much you're going to have to pay. And remember that tools are expensive, especially in this program, but they're important. Don't skimp out on the tools. Make sure that you're getting them when you need them. Most companies, at least in shop environments, won't be hiring unless you have your own set of tools. That's something that they require. Be willing to go out of your comfort zone, whether it's for getting a part-time job, getting full-time work on your off-track, whatever it might be, working in a job that you don't prefer, whatever it is, and apply for as many scholarships as possible. Avoid student loans at all costs, and remember deadlines. You can also review parts of this presentation that stood out to you and explore the links that were provided. If you have any other questions as well, go to the BYU-I financial aid page, and there are many tips and helps there. You can also go to any of your teachers, and they might be able to help you decide what might be the best path, or give you some tips about what kinds of things you can do. And you can always Google the internet, make sure that you know if there's any more automotive scholarships available. The ones that I listed were just a few. There's actually several more. And so keep that in mind. And I know that you won't have to always go into debt in order to pay for your school. Thanks for watching. Remember that you can go back and explore any of the links. Refresh yourself on any of the topics that we covered, and make the most out of this presentation. Thanks.